Hey there, traders. It is November 2nd, and it's 8:28 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I just want to go over a few things that happened in the markets today, and take these as trading tips. And well, let me tell you, I'm going to show you a couple of things here. And the first one is, what do you do when you have a limit order in the market ready to go, and you don't get filled? Number one. Secondly, what do you do when news comes across the wires? All right, so let's just take it one step at a time here. I was looking for a short today in the Euro US dollar. And what you're going to see here, this is a limit orders. And up here is where I had a couple of areas I wanted to short at. You see these dots right here. Let me just get a marker here for you. You see this area right here is one area I was looking at. Area as well. These are change trades. Anyone that trades off of Oanda know that those are change. And this is actually where the order was set to go. And that order was at 38.45. And I was very happy with that area to take a short at. And, well, the best laid plans, right? What they say? The best laid plans. This is what happened. I'm looking at 38.45 to go short at. And you can see this order is placed here. This is a 5-minute chart we're looking at. I was looking for the market to keep going up. Now, for all you people out there that get looking at just how the markets are moving, you've got your lows here, your low here, right? We're making higher highs. Okay. And didn't work. And then we start coming down here, and then we pop up here as well. And even the second time through, I never got filled on this order. It just missed my entry price that was at 38.45, and this was just an area that I was looking at. It's actually the lows back in. Sorry, that's gonna be a target. That was actually a cluster of trading activity that I was looking at. And I wanted the market to rally up there. So what I was looking for was just an area where I knew there was going to be some liquidity for orders can get filled, and markets like to move up towards those areas. And unfortunately, it didn't pop up there. So when I finally saw it, it was there in this area right here. Are you going to chase the market? Now it's very easy to do, right? It's just to market in your trades, but my plan was what it was. My plan was to short at 38.45. I had a logical reason for doing it. And unfortunately, the way things are going right now in the market, any sort of comments, rhetoric, rumors, it doesn't really matter, can send these markets all over the map. You're looking at the euro with the crisis that's going on, in Greece and Italy, and just the whole Eurozone, just a big mess. You have the U.S. that's, same, right? So you're looking at these it's like two weaklings going to battle, right? There's not one that's stronger than the other. Unfortunately, we saw for a long time in the Aussie against the U.S. dollar, and all good things coming to an end, just like that did. So I see this happen, and it's like, well, what am I going to do? It's very easy to market in. All right, it's very easy. And problem with that is when you market in, one thing you're running the risk of, depending on how fast the markets are moving, how volatile it is, you may try to market in and get held up. So you may try to market in at these highs, which is around 38.30. I was 15 pips away, and look how far it dropped. Anyway, you do that, and you don't know what you're going to get filled at. You don't know, and the bottom line is I had a plan for this trade, and I've said in the last few videos that I don't have, for this kind of trade, I don't have a standard trade plan, how every trade is going to work out. I have some basics that I look for, and some basic management, but for this particular trade, marketing in was not going to happen. And some traders may do that, and they could have caught this big move down. Unfortunately, that's not part of my trade plan, and you're going to miss out on trades like this if you follow your trade plan rigid. You're going to miss out on some runs like this, but at the same time, the way the markets are going, right? Up, down. We saw that big move in the euro last Thursday, and it quickly dropped down, basically on the Sunday, Monday, right? So you don't know. You don't know. And so you just go on the probabilities, and hopefully you've worked on a trade plan that takes into account the probabilities, and you're getting in at different decent areas. Now, the great thing about this trade up here was the risk was so low. The risk was very, very low, and certain trades I'll risk a lot more than other trades. It all depends on how many things are pointing in my favor. And for this trade, a lot of things were pointing in my favor, and unfortunately, it is what it is. So that was one lesson, stick to your trade plan. And I think what's going on in the markets right now, you can't stress that enough. Secondly, there was some 2 o'clock. America had some announcements. This is what came across the wires 2 o'clock. Fed's cut forecast for the growth and raises their forecast for unemployment. So basically now they're seeing lower growth for the next year. Right? And what else are they seeing? Unemployment 8.6%. So obviously the forecast was obviously different from before. So if you look at the markets, is this good news or bad news? Well, it's not good news, right? If they're looking at lower growth, what's off the table? Basically, higher interest rates, right? And markets love higher yields, right? Like you saw in the Aussie, which is a lot stronger yield-wise, interest rate-wise than the U.S. So we had some nice moves going on in there, and then they ran into some difficulties as well. All right. So when you see this kind of stuff, is it good or bad? Well, it's actually bad for the states, right? And for their currency. But what's worse, this or euro and Greece talking about referendums? Well, the smart money is going to go to the U.S. dollar for the euro-U.S. trades, right? At this point. So you don't have to be an economist to get this. If you just look at it from a personal standpoint, if someone says this to you that looking for bad growth and higher unemployment, is that good news or bad news? That's bad news. What do? Right? A lot of traders don't do that. So look what happens here. You get this big spike right here. And this spike happened pretty quick. Right to 3,800 level. Right to it. Like almost to the pip. What's the high on this? The candle is 3801. 3801. So let me ask you. People that say, yeah, the market's totally random. There's no if, and, or buts. Well, I'm going to disagree. What does this? What market does that? So what happens when you see this? If you're trying to trade this, I don't know. I wouldn't trade this spike, and I didn't trade this spike. You're going to see my entry is right here. What I was looking for was this move up, and there was absolutely no way you're going to get any decent fill on this or filled at all. This happened so quick, and I remember sitting here watching this move. I was like, wow, incredible. So, people that were looking to to this, like I said, it's a 5-minute chart, right? People that were looking at this level right here to short at, well, they definitely got their short position filled. And then what happened is it broke above, it's 20 pip stop loss. They got probably taken out, right? So when you're selling and buying, right? When you sell the market, when you're selling at the market, when you're selling the market, not at the market, because it could have been a different order structure there. But what's going to happen? To get out, you got to buy, right? Which kind of helps fuel these moves north. What I was looking for was just price to normalize back, because I knew I wasn't going to get filled. If I would have had a limit order up here, maybe I would have gotten filled, but I didn't. So when price came back down here, I was happy to short this market, and that's exactly what I did. This is going to. This was a market order. Once this spike came back down, I didn't do it when it was coming down. I did when it was here. Like, this happens so quick. It's pretty incredible how fast this happened. But anyhow, when moves are like that, there's some money behind it. Anyway, so what I'm looking for a target on this is, I'll just mark it off here for you. And sure enough, got filled. Just down back to these lows. You know, if you look what happened here, where this this big move up happened, this spike, I guess you want to call it, right? You want to call it a spike. Basically, this was the origin right in this area right here. So I just wanted to trade it into that area again, and when it came down, started rallying back up. You know, you got to have some patience with this, right? I wasn't too concerned about it going too far north, considering what we just talked about, right? Where the worst news is, right? What's the headlines? You know, the headline really was not this. It's not Fed's cut forecast, right? The headlines are basically everything that's going on in the Eurozone. And then tomorrow we've got this big. I'll finish up what I'm trying to say here. So if your trade plan's obviously not going to say, I'm going to chase the market. That's not your trade plans. You're not going to do it, right? If you start doing that kind of stuff and deviating from your trade plan, you know, you're making mistake after mistake after mistake, and it's going to cost you your trading career. You know, just pack it in now, because eventually you're going to have to. And if you're trying to trade new spikes, you see this move going up. You know, I'm sure a lot of the more novice traders, if this move would have been a bit slower, would try getting in on this trade. Which, hey, you know what? They see this, they see market spiking, right? They see bad news for the States, right? They see the market going up. Hey, you know what? I'm going to buy the euro US dollar. Without looking at the bigger picture, right? The bigger context of when this is taking place. This is taking place inside of a currency pair where we've also got this euro issue going on, and then what's coming up tomorrow. Let me just bring this up here. Right there, we've got this coming on. We've got announcement about their monetary policy with regard to interest rates. Interest rates are a huge mover. I dare say one of the prime movers when it comes to the currency markets. So, you know, who knows what's going to come out of here, right? There's so many issues going on over there, and perhaps right now for more novice traders, you may want to look at trading something a little bit different, because quite frankly, these moves that you're seeing in the euro US dollar, they're all over the map. Like there's, you think you got a good trade going on, and then boom, the market spikes up 30 pips, right? Put you underwater pretty quick, right? So, so what to take from this video? And you know, these are trading tips. Number one, and can't hammer home enough to follow a trade plan, to have a plan for every single trade you take, whether it's one sweeping, you know, general trade plan or whatever. You know, follow it. You start deviating from it, you know, you're going to end up on the side the way the majority of people trading that happens to them, right? I don't want to say that people can't make a trading, because man, you want to approach these markets with a vengeance. You know, you want to have that belief that, you know what, you are going to be one of those people that succeed. Because if you go into this knowing that, hey, you know what, 90% don't make it, and I'll probably be one of them, that's a really bad way to be thinking. You got to be thinking, hey, yeah, you know what, yeah, there's a lot of failed traders out there. You know, troll any forum and you see the same people over and over again looking at different strategies here, there, and everywhere, right? They're not going to make it. Right? How can you when you don't even stick to one strategy? But you have to approach this as a professional, and you can't be thinking to yourself that you don't have a chance against the big boys, because you certainly do. You certainly do. If you just, you know, treat it as a profession, as a career, and realize this is real money. Okay, the money that you can make in trading is beyond what you think you can make. The lifestyle you could have, you know, working from your home office, or just break down on distractions. You have an office outside the home that you go to, whatever. Take it serious. You know, don't be deviating from your trade plan and, you know, doing stuff like not getting filled here and deciding, hey, you know what, I didn't get filled, so what am I going to do? I'm going to drive down the market and just mark it in somewhere, hopefully get filled on here and ride this down, because you don't know when this is going to spike back up. You have no clue. Right? You really don't. You have some probabilities to look at where the market's reaching to, what they're looking for, what prices the market is looking for. And I say market, I mean market participants. Also, you're not going to do this. You're not going to go, oh, look at this big move up, man. I'm going to buy into this, because you're going to lose. You're going to lose. And if you got filled on this, you'd still lose. Right? So stick to your trade plan. Don't think you're going to trade these spikes and get anything out of it. It's not going to happen. You can think you are, but You're really not as a retail trader. So that's that. Like I said, let's summarize this up. Follow your trade plan. Don't be chasing the news. Don't be chasing your trades. And approach this as a professional. You do that, you've got a good chance of making it in this this crazy business called trading. Take care. Thanks for watching, and be safe out there. It's pretty crazy.